Good morning. Monday, the 8th of January, and the Justice Secretary, Alex Chalk, will meet the minister responsible for the Post Office today to discuss how hundreds of branch managers who were wrongly convicted in the Horizon IT scandal could be cleared.
Pressure is increasing on Number 10 to take action over what's been described as the most widespread miscarriage of justice in British history. Here's our business correspondent, Mark Ashdown.
Hello, how can I help?
Oh, hi. It's Jo Hamilton here from South Warnborough. I'm trying to produce this week's cash account.
And what's the problem?
Jo Hamilton's story was central to the recent ITV drama. She was falsely accused of stealing £36,000 from the village post office she ran in Hampshire.
In the meantime, you'll need to make good the loss.
I haven't got that money.
Her conviction has now been quashed, but she's still angry that so many are still waiting for justice.
To know my conviction's quashed and to keep the promise to my parents, who didn't live to see it, sadly, that I would never give up until I overturned my conviction. And it's amazing. It also opens doors to compensation as well, which is life-changing.
Jo is among more than 700 post office managers convicted over a 16-year period from 1999. Faulty software in the Horizon IT system was to blame. But to overturn convictions, each and every person still has to appeal directly to the post office and prove their innocence.
Well, if you meet the victims and how traumatised and broken they are, you can understand why they don't want to go anywhere near a court. So therefore, the government need to come up with a solution which expunges these convictions and restores these people's reputations.
One suggestion is to remove the post office from the appeals process and possibly pass new legislation to exonerate all of the victims as one. Rishi Sunak said the Justice Secretary, Alex Chalk, is currently weighing up what to do.
The group themselves have not been compensated. They've had literally a tiny interim payment or tiny payment at the beginning given to them, and they're having to fight for the rest of it, submit claims. Months later they come back. They've extended the deadline now from the 6th of August this year into next year, and by then it'll be heading for year 6. You know, how can it possibly take that long to pay 500 people?
A public inquiry is ongoing. The Post Office said it supports it and is keen to establish what went wrong in the past and the accountability for it. A police investigation is also underway into whether crimes were committed by some of those prosecuting hundreds of innocent people in what's become known as Britain's biggest miscarriage of justice. Mark Ashdown, BBC News.
Well, another update for you on this, because this morning a petition which is calling for the former Post Office boss, Paula Venables, to lose her CBE over the Horizon scandal has now attracted more than 1 million signatures. It's right at the top of the political agenda, this whole issue, as MPs return to Westminster today. Henry is there live for breakfast. And Henry, it feels like this TV drama has just given this decades-long story whole new impetus.
Exactly right, John. And in the last few short days, it seems that the consensus now, since this drama was aired, in Westminster, the consensus is that there was a massive miscarriage of justice. And the only question hanging over politics now today is what they're going to do about it. Today, you've got Alex Chalk, who's the Justice Secretary, meeting Kevin Hollinrake. He's a business minister responsible for overseeing the Post Office. And they're meeting in the presence of government lawyers because they want their advice on what the best legal remedy is to what they now believe was a massive miscarriage of justice. There's two things in particular we think they're examining, both at, I think, different ends of the sort of radical spectrum. One that's a bit more procedural would be to remove the Post Office's role from the appeals, because at the moment, if you're a postmaster who wants to appeal, you have to appeal to the people who pursued you in the first place. The other option, much more radical, would be for Parliament to just pass a law quashing all of the convictions of all of the postmasters over many years. There's also questions about the past, about what different ministers should have done. There's questions about the behaviour of the Post Office. I can't tell you how energised various different people in Parliament and government are by this issue, to which a postmaster could be forgiven for asking, what took you so long?
Indeed. Henry, for now, thank you very much indeed. Here on Breakfast in the next few minutes, we will speak to Sir Bob Neal. He's the MP who chairs the Justice Select Committee. We'll be asking him exactly that. What can his committee now try to force further onto the political agenda? Lots more on this, the real life side of it, not just the TV drama. On the case on Panorama, there's a special edition called The Post Office Scandal. You can watch it anytime on the BBC iPlayer.